98FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. How are you this morning? Everything good with you? I hope it is. Now, I want to start off our show in a slightly different way today because we like to share good news. Okay? And as you know, if you're a regular listener to this programme, over the last while, during everything that we've been going through, we like to share some positive news, some nice news, some good news that is going on despite everything. Nice things that people are doing for each other and so on. So if you have a good news story that you'd like to share with us, you can call us right now on 6797 981. 6797 981. You can also text or WhatsApp or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. We call it good news every day. Well, not every day, but almost every day. And it's where we want you to share with us something nice that has happened in your world over the last couple of days. It can be something really big or something really small, but whatever, it is good news in your world. So call me right now on 6797 981. As I said, you can text, you can WhatsApp, or you can send a WhatsApp voice note with some good news to 0877 98 98 98. Now, something that months ago mightn't have seemed like good news actually can be good news. So, for example, yesterday I finally completed my challenge to weed our entire back garden. Now, we've a reasonable sized back garden. And when I looked out at it a couple of weeks ago, the weeds were starting to come up, and I thought, oh my God, I am never going to get through all that. I'm going to have to get somebody in to help me. But no, I've stuck at it. And I finally, at about tea time yesterday, finally completed the weeding of our back garden. As I said, a couple of months ago, for me to go on the radio and say that as being good news, you'd have gone, really, Kennedy? That's the best you can come up with? Well, yes. So for me, it is good news, and the garden looks great. So I've now to set myself more challenges. We want to hear from you on 6797 981. You can also text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note with some good news. Okay? So, like I said, it can be the tiniest little thing or the most major news in your life. Whatever it is, share it with us right now. Once again, text 08 or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98 0877 98 98 98. Now, I hope to have on this line here a lady called
Press 3 to re-record your message.
Oh,
press
that's
4
definitely not a lady called Linda.
Mailbox. Press star twice.
No, that's definitely not Linda. So, sorry, we're having some issues with our phone lines, which we're trying to deal with as we speak to you. Anyway, if you have a good news story, send it to me right now to 0877 98 98 98. And as always, we share good news, the tiniest little thing. It can be big, small, or anything in between. Do I have Linda on the line now? Hello, Linda.
Good morning,
Good
Adrian.
morning, Linda. How are you?
We are really, really good. Daniel is dying to say hello to you.
Excellent. Daniel, how are you?
Good.
Now, Daniel, you are 9 years old.
Yeah.
And you decided to do something to help in this bad situation that we're in. Tell me what you have decided to do.
I have decided to get donations for Easter eggs and give them to homeless and frontline workers.
So you have started a collection of Easter eggs, yeah?
Yeah.
And originally you wanted to collect 200 Easter eggs, okay?
Yeah.
Is that right? So what did you want to do with the 200 Easter eggs?
I wanted to give them to Inner City Homeless, St. James Hospital, Calla Hospital, and 2 other hospitals.
Okay.
London Florida, Dublin Fire Brigade, Harold Cross Hospice.
Oh my God! Right, that's some list. So you were planning to collect 200 Easter eggs and distribute them to all of those frontline services here in Dublin.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, not only have you collected 200 Easter eggs, how many have you got now?
1,283.
1,283 Easter eggs.
Yeah.
My God Almighty! And that's and we're still like a week and a half away from Easter.
Yep, we're hoping to go for how many, Daniel? Hoping to go for 2,000 mark.
Yep. Oh my God Almighty! Okay, so you're aiming to collect 2,000 Easter eggs, and then you are going to you have to work out the logistics, but going to distribute them to all of those frontline workers in hospitals, in hospices, in homeless charities, come Easter weekend or just shortly after it.
Yep.
That is unbelievable. So, 1,283 Easter eggs. Let me talk to your mum, Linda. You must be very proud of your 9-year-old.
Big time, queer. We just gave our first donation there to across the road. The council's been working every single day trying to get a house ready for a homeless family. So we were able to bring over a few Easter eggs to the lads that were working there. It was absolutely fantastic.
That is absolutely fantastic. And where did he come up with the idea? Or why did he come up with the idea?
Daniel's always been interested in the homeless. For his community, he had done a food drive, and we brought into Inner City Homeless, and the amount of people that were knocking at the door with bags of food, and he actually gave half of his communion money to get food as well for them. So at Christmas, we had been in town to see the Snowman in the National Concert Hall, and Daniel was getting really, really upset. He said, it's just so many people are stepping over the homeless and are just ignoring them. So he wanted to do one then for this Christmas. And I just happened to ask what Easter egg he wanted, and then that was it. He was like, they don't get an Easter egg, so can we do it again? So, of course, I just go along and go, yep, okay, no problem.
Fair enough.
So the original post was 200, but that was just to be given to Inner City Homeless. And then we had just reached 350 to 500 so fast. That was it. We decided, right, we're going to break it up between so many people that deserve it.
That is absolutely amazing. That is unbelievable. Fair play to him. You must be very proud of him.
Big time. And it doesn't bother him. It doesn't faze him. Like, he's not thinking, oh my God, I'm so famous. Like, he was on Media Live 1 yesterday, and he had such a little giggle to it. He was watching it and he was amazed by it. But it didn't go to his head around. He was just, okay, let's get a few more eggs now.
Unbelievable. Now, you said you're aiming to get to 2,000 Easter eggs, now that you've hit 1,283. And I know for neighbours have been dropping them and leaving them at your front door, but that's not something the rest of us can do because we're not allowed to travel more than 2 kilometres from our homes.
I know, yeah.
So how can people help you and help Daniel to collect even more Easter eggs? Because I'm looking at the photographs. My God, that's some amount of Easter eggs you have.
It is.
How they can also help is donating at PayPal at lindajamie@hotmail.com.
Oh, okay, hang on.
lindajamie@hotmail.com. It's just a safer way. It just means one person is going to get the eggs rather than 20 people going to a supermarket.
Okay,
I
so
just get to PayPal and I go get them there.
Okay, so you just send a fiver or a tenner through PayPal.
€5 gets 5 Easter eggs. We have Moriarty's Super Value in Palmerstown, and they seem to be they're amazing. It's like I go in and I can say I need €200 worth of Easter eggs, and like that, not a bother, they have them for me.
That is absolutely incredible. It really is. I'm very, very impressed with that. So I'm actually on my PayPal now, okay? And if I want to send money to you, I just go onto my PayPal and I send money to Linda
Jamie, JAMIE @hotmail.com.
Hang on now, at Hotmail. I'm doing this as I'm talking to you, okay? So Linda Jamie at hotmail.com.
That's it.
Okay, now I've just done that, and I am going to send you a tenner right now. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'll write from Adrian Kennedy, 98 FM.
Brilliant.
And let me see. I'm just trying to prove how easy this actually is to do.
Yeah.
Trying to prove. Not that easy.
Okay, now there we go. So I have just sent you a tenner.
Thank you very much.
There you are. It's actually that easy. You sent €10 to Linda McGowan from Adrian Kennedy 98 FM. So there you are, Linda. That's gone through to you.
It.
So that is another tenner. And again, will you remind me what people have to do in terms of where these eggs are going to be delivered? Just give us a rough idea. I know you had a huge list there.
Yeah, well, the hospitals we're planning, we've actually added another 3 hospitals to the list. So it was originally inner city homeless, they'll be getting a big bulk. We have Pella Hospital, St. James's Hospital, Beaumont, the Mater Hospital, Cherry Orchard. Then we have 2 local Garda stations, Dublin Fire Brigade and Our Ladies Hospice in Harrods Cross. I think that's the name of it.
That is absolutely amazing. That is really impressive.
Oh, and then we have the Defence Forces at the test centre, and as many as we can find. We've also done to the council, and he's waiting on the bin men now. I'm going to give them an Easter egg.
Absolutely fantastic. I'm very, very, very impressed with that. So well done to you. 1,283 eggs collected so far out of, you originally wanted 200. Now you're aiming for 2,000. So that is really, really good. And once again, if you want to donate even a $5, which will buy 2 eggs, you send it by PayPal, which I've just done myself. It's very easy to do. You search, you put in lindajamie@hotmail.com, and then you can donate whatever it is you can afford, even if it's only €2. You can do it right now. So lindajamie@hotmail.com if you want to donate. Well done, both of you, especially you, Daniel. That's a brilliant thing for you to do as a 9-year-old young fella to help the homeless and the frontline workers.
Thank you so much.
Well done, all of you. Well done. Thanks very much indeed. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. That should be in your account now to go and buy a few Easter eggs. So well done.
Woo! Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Our telephone number is 6797981. You can text, you can WhatsApp, you can send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. I want you to share with us some good news. Paddy, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Paddy?
Adrian, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Paddy. We're asking people to share a bit of good news for a change.
No, Adrian, I've 2 bits of good news.
Okay, go on.
All right.
Yep.
You probably remember me, Adrian. I met a woman in Lanzarote 13 years ago, and Germany, and yourself would recognise me. I met her about 13 years ago, and people said it was a holiday romance. I wouldn't last.
Oh, I remember you, Paddy. You spoke to us on our old show back on that old station. Yeah.
Forget about that one.
Yeah, yes, I remember you, Paddy.
You remember me now? How are you keeping, Adrian?
Good, thank you, Paddy. Yeah, very good, very good. So what's your good news?
Well, I was in England. We were back to Ireland. With 2 children, and everything's going to cocoon for the last 16 days. 16 days in the house, so it's a bit trying to keep the kids occupied and that, but so far so good. Everything's going good, Adrian.
That is amazing. So just to let our listeners know, back in the day we spoke to Paddy and he met this lady. What's your lady friend called?
Michelle. Right now she's going to kill me.
Oh, okay. And we met. We spoke to Paddy, and he met Michelle on a holiday, and you were mad. She was in England, or you were in England. One of you. Is that right?
I was in Ireland. Michelle was living in England.
That's right.
I went with the lads on a mad session for a week, and Michelle went with one of her friends, and we met in Route 66, and that was 13 years ago, and there we are today, living in Galway, 2 children. Everything's going good, Adrian.
That is absolutely fantastic. It really, really is. Paddy, congratulations to you.
And can I just mention one more thing when I have you there?
Yes, go on, yeah.
If you wouldn't mind. My brother, he's running a pub in Newbridge called Judge Rye Beans. I think you've spoken to him there a few weeks ago.
We did indeed, that's right.
Now, and he was 10 years yesterday in business. As you know, he had to shut the doors, but his staff come in, didn't all voluntary to come in, and they delivered 100 meals to the elderly people and free of charge in Newbridge that were cocooned in the house. So Judge Rye Beans in Newbridge done 100 meals, and the staff come in free of charge and drop hot food to people's houses, to the elderly that needed it.
That is absolutely amazing.
I thought that was a nice thing.
It really was.
Just give Judge Rye Beans in Newbridge and have a take-out menu available now. People can order online and it'll be delivered straight to your door. So if you could just give Judge Rye Beans an old
You've just done it, and well done to them.
And that's two good news I just thrown at you for today, Adrian. And love the show and listening the whole time.
Yeah, you're very good, Paddy. Thanks very much indeed, and the best of luck to both of you. And well done to Judge Roy Beans in Newbridge for delivering those meals. If you have a bit of good news, call us right now on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Here's another bit of good news, and I'm quite happy to highlight people going that extra yard to do something for society, basically, at this time. And Richard McCarthy is the boss man of a company called Flowellen Construction. Richard, welcome to 98 FM.
Thank you very much, Adrian. It's good to talk to you.
Richard, firstly, tell me a bit about your company. What do you do?
Just a small builder in the Greater Dublin area, house extensions, renovations, energy upgrades, that sort of stuff. Just the normal things that a small builder would do.
And obviously, along with the majority of construction and building last Friday after the Taoiseach's announcement that all non-essential building works should cease, you obviously, like everybody else, shut up shop.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. On Thursday, we got a call from somebody who we had done some work for in the past who had a bit of an emergency, a burst pipe in an attic. When they came home in the afternoon, ground floor of the house is flooded, carpets, all, the usual story. And then the news came on Friday. We hadn't thought of anything at all. And just one of the lads when we said we better close up, one of the lads just said, no, what we should do is offer our services some way or other. And I'm thinking of Daniel there before me. He's a hard act to follow.
He is, absolutely, with his Easter eggs, yep.
Absolutely, doing great work. But in that there, his mum mentioned, that they had given some eggs to a group who were trying to renovate a house for a homeless family. So that was the sort of thing we were thinking of. Can we do anything? But in this particular case, somebody out there probably who's in the vulnerable groups has a burst pipe or a broken window or their heating is not working. Something simple like that we could just come along and sort out for them until this time passes when they can get it properly fixed and organised. That's all it is.
Okay, so what
coincidence.
Okay, so it was one of your workers that suggested that you volunteer your services to anyone that has a home or business emergency and unable to get experienced help during these difficult times.
Absolutely. If you think there's lots of people who are locked down at the moment, particularly the vulnerable groups, and we all know the stories of poor Mrs. Smith, who was at home on her own, her heating has stopped working, or she has a burst pipe, or those typical things. And what we can do is we have a good group of people. We have across the expertise of construction. We can come along and just do whatever temporary repairs need to be done until this time passes. We're not going to build anyone's house or anything like that for them, but just that emergency services that they normally would pick up a phone and say, listen, can you come and do that? But because the situation is difficult at the moment, and because we have a group of workers who are sitting around bored, we just thought that would be...
Okay, so, and obviously this is something that you're able to do within the regulations to provide emergency cover.
So within that, so if it's an emergency, so we're classing it as an emergency. If someone's heating is broken down or someone's window is broken, or it's going to affect how their comfort is in their home, particularly the vulnerable groups, and it's just a response to that we could come along. We have all the proper equipment and so on, face masks and gloves and all that, and we'll obviously make sure to put them into a room where we carry out the work or whatever.
That is...
We don't need to come into contact with them.
Okay, so no contact at all. If there was a burst pipe or whatever, you'll be able to come to their home and fix what needs to be fixed and head off without coming into any contact at all.
Absolutely.
So basically, if your home is located in the Greater Dublin or East Leinster area and you have an emergency that in any way requires the skills of an experienced construction team, especially if you're in the vulnerable groups most affected by the coronavirus, how do they get in contact with you, Richard?
Well, I'm happy for you to give out my phone number if you want to, or if you want to do it through your own radio station, whatever is good for you. I'm okay with giving out my phone number. I don't have any problem. The fear in that is I'll get a million calls, but look, it is what it is. We'll have to deal with it.
Absolutely.
So I'm good for you to give out my phone number if you want to.
Okay, well, I will, if that's okay. If anybody would like to avail of the services, if you have some sort of a construction emergency, the company is called Flowellen Construction, and the phone number is 085 163 9944. That's 085 163 9944. If you would need to avail of an emergency assistance in terms of something gone wrong in your house or that needs builders to come around and fix, basically. Once again, that number is 085 163 9944. Yeah, okay, that's absolutely brilliant, Richard. I'm very impressed. You've a good crew working with you, obviously prepared
absolutely. Usually very busy. We keep going. It's good to have that. It's a good complaint to have. We're just finding ourselves bored at the moment. I'm actually walking in my local park here at the moment, enjoying the nice morning.
Yeah,
I suppose there's some good benefits in it, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah. And in fact, you're talking about the weather. Just a bit of a warning for everybody. If you can get out for that walk over the next couple of days. I'm looking for the weather for the weather for Sunday is going to be rain. So get out and get the fresh air whenever you can. All right, Richard McCarthy from Flowellen Construction. Well done, you and your staff. And once again, Richard's number is 085 163 9944. Richard, thank you for talking to us.
Adrian, thanks a million for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
No problem at all.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Bye-bye. There you are. Isn't that good news? Isn't it good news? It really is. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're back in just a second. Don't go away.
The sound of the city from Drumcondra to Dorky. Dublin Talks. 98FM's Dublin Talks.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Our telephone number is 6797 981. You can also text, WhatsApp or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Now, an awful lot of you are coping with your children at home at the moment, and it is very unusual to not only have the children home for so long, but also to have them home for so long and have to keep them indoors for so long and be completely out of their routine. Now, that is very, very difficult for many parents. But it is especially difficult for parents of children with autism who are finding the whole routine or change of routine extremely difficult to cope with. Do you have a child with autism? How is the lack of routine affecting them? Is there something they're used to doing or having every day that is now stopped? And how are you dealing with this? I'd like to hear from you. If you are able to talk, you can call us on 6797 981. You can also text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Do you have a child with autism? As we know, a lot of children with autism are all about routine and coping with, having a regular routine, and that's part of their life. But how are you dealing with this? How are you coping with your children? It is difficult enough for parents at the best of times in these circumstances, but I should imagine even more difficult for parents of children with autism. And if that is you, we'd love to hear from you. 6797 981. You can also text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Now, one such mother has reached out to us looking for some help, and her name is Gillian. Gillian, good morning and welcome to 98 FM.
Morning, Adrian. How are you?
Now, you sent us a message a while ago about a very specific, particular issue that you're trying to deal with. You have twin boys aged 9 and 6. Is that right?
No, they're 9.
Sorry, twin boys. Twin boys aged 9. Yes, but for
That's
6
right,
years, they have only eaten something very specific for breakfast.
That's right, yeah. We all they eat is McDonald's hash browns and cheese toasties. We go to the drive-through every single morning for 6 years now. It's literally routine. Ryan and Kyle have quite specific tastes, and they have sensory processing disorder, so it depends on how something smells, how it looks, how it feels for them to eat it. And out of desperation, one day we tried McDonald's, and lo and behold, they loved it. Apologise for the noise. At the moment, we're pretending that McDonald's is open, and we're sitting up at our local McDonald's. We had to pretend to come up, drive around the drive-through, and we've made our own cheese toasties, but we've gotten into trouble. When we went into lockdown, our local McDonald's have been great to us, but that day I kind of went through the drive-through, bought as much as I could, and put it in my freezer, but now I've run out. And my kids are refusing to eat. And I mean, when I say refusing to eat, Ryan and Kyle would literally end up in hospital rather than eat or taste something that's any way different to what they're used to.
Oh, right, okay. So have you tried?
I have been everywhere. So I've been to every supermarket, bought every hash brown, but unfortunately, they're different shapes in McDonald's. So McDonald's have this oblong shape hash browns, and everywhere else has these like square ones, triangular, and they've a lot of them different ingredients. Now, yesterday I downloaded what I thought was the McDonald's recipe myself,
right, and
spent the afternoon making them, thinking this morning, brilliant, put them in the freezer, got up, not a chance. They took one look at them, smelt them, and there's hysterics, literally hysterics.
And so basically they will refuse to eat anything. Is that just for breakfast time? Will they eat during the rest of the day?
No, they literally now, what will happen is, because their breakfast routine has been put out, if they don't get to have that, they don't understand, then the next thing to do is go on to lunch and dinner. So Ryan and Kyle are non-verbal, and they've a learning disability, so their understanding will be poor of some things. So for this, to try, how do you explain to a non-verbal child that McDonald's is closed? So we've brought him up to the doors and we've let him pull the doors, and he still doesn't, get it or understand it. So it's heartbreaking. The boys are 9, and we went on holidays once in 9 years, and on that time we had to literally borrow money and come home because the boys ended up in Temple Street afterwards. They refused to eat any food when we were on holidays. So, it gets to that stage with us that the lads will end up on a drip in Temple Street, and what's going on at the moment?
That's the last place you want them to be, yeah.
You want to be, especially with kids, they've got weak immunity as it is, and they're so upset by, they don't understand why they're not doing their regular stuff.
No, of course, absolutely,
so it's I had a feeling we'd get to this stage, but I was hoping and praying, that somehow I'd manage to be able to get something similar somewhere, but I just can't. I did email McDonald's yesterday, but it's just their head office that answered me and said, look, our shops are all shut. There's very, very little we can do. But I do actually know that from a couple of people that work in McDonald's that a lot of their freezers, they're just full of this stuff at the moment.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And when they do go back in, it'll be thrown out. It'll go to it. And literally, I'm not going to lie to you, I would give anything, right? I'll pay anything if I could get even, a few bags of the hash browns out of any of their freezers. It's desperation for us. And I know that sounds madness to probably some people.
And of course it does. For a lot of people will see, you can't get their heads around this. But obviously this is very, very significant for you and your boys.
Of course, yeah.
So have you tried, I know there are other frozen hash browns that look very similar.
Yeah.
But
I have tried them.
But they're not. Is that the problem?
No, they're not the same, no. And they've all got slightly different ingredients. So for you and me, that might be fine.
Yeah.
But most of them that you'd buy in any regular supermarket have onions in them, and McDonald's ones don't.
Right, I'm with you, yeah.
You can go on YouTube and you can go, oh, give me the McDonald's recipe for hash browns. That's what I did yesterday. But so I made them, but absolutely nothing. Like, obviously, there's certain ingredients that they just don't let you know, and your own ones are just not the same. So this morning we've been up since one of them has been up. They don't sleep as it is. So sometimes I'm in the drive-thru at like 4 o'clock in the morning with the lads. So this is my third time to the drive-thru this morning, even though it's closed, and they're sitting in the back here at the moment. And I'm at the stage where kind of you're really in tears because I know what the rest of my day is going to be like.
Mm.
Because
so when did you run out of them?
I run out of them yesterday, believe it or not.
Right. Okay.
Yesterday morning was my last lot. And I was, I'll keep praying in my head. I was going, you know what? He'll accept something else. I'll try it. I'll give it a go. I'll make it. You don't know how many supermarkets I went to yesterday. And even the day before, knowing I was going to run out of them. My friends and neighbours, they've tried different supermarkets for me as well. And we cannot find the same hash browns anywhere.
Now, a couple of people have been on to us saying, have you tried the Subway hash browns? I don't even know if Subway are still open. That's part of the problem, isn't it?
Would you believe if I told you I'm sitting outside the one up at Northwood in Santry at the moment, and it's not the same either.
So you have tried them?
I've tried them, yeah. That's what we did this morning.
Right. Okay, if anybody has any suggestions, can you call us on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98, because that just sounds like hell.
It is. And as I said, I know with what's going on at the moment, it might seem like a trivial little problem.
Well, no, it's far from a trivial problem in your world right now at this minute.
It is. And I mean, something they've adjusted so much to, everything else. Like, they can't go to the playground, they can't go to do the things they do. And all of that on top of this is just put them into sensory overload, and it's just a constant meltdown.
That's dreadful. So if anybody has any suggestions, please, Gillian is reaching out for your help. If you can help us, please call us on 6797 981. If you even know somebody who has access to a fridge in McDonald's, if you work at McDonald's, who can get us even a bag of the things, you might give us a shout as well. On 6797 981. You can text, you can WhatsApp, or you can send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Maybe you're a manager from one of the McDonald's stores here in Dublin. Maybe you're a franchisee from one of the McDonald's stores here in Dublin. Maybe there's something that you can do to help. Because like I said, Linda, I know for parents just having their kids at home at the moment, it can be a bit of a struggle for them. But this is a particular specific struggle, and your big concern is that the lads won't eat. Your 9-year-olds, Ryan and Kyle, just won't eat. Yeah. And on a normal day, is that all they will eat?
That's all they eat. Yeah. So if they have that for breakfast, then they'd understand that sometimes lunchtime, then they will have maybe a bowl of pasta, which would probably be the healthiest thing that my kids eat. But 99% of it is McDonald's. They have a really high salt intake. So, I would probably be one of their best customers up here in Northwood, because I could go through the drive-thru on any day at least 3 times. As a matter of fact, I went through it so many times for so many years. Like, they all know me by first name up here. They know the boys. And I have to be honest with you, they are terrific when they're open. They would go out of their way to help me out. They know them by first name. They really are an incredible store for helping out. But unfortunately, I can't contact them right now. So...
Okay, Gillian, I need to take a very quick break, but there are calls coming in, messages coming in, which I'll bring to you straight after the break. So stay there for 1 second. That's like I said, for an awful lot of people, the notion of having twin boys with autism who are in such routine that they're not eating now because they can't have a McDonald's hash brown to most of us seems bizarre, but that is Gillian's life right now. Tracy, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Tracy?
Morning, Adrian.
Now,
I'm just listening to that girl there, and I'm going on to the YouTube there, and it gives out a video of how to make the hash browns, McDonald's hash browns, and she could do it herself. Like, she could make them up in a batch.
Now, I'm looking at the video that you sent in to us. And this is a YouTube video which we'll forward on to Gillian, and it shows how you peel the potatoes, obviously. You
what ingredients to do and everything.
You scrape them down, and let me just forward through this video to see, do they look like McDonald's hash browns by the time you're finished? Let me have a look here now. Oh, they actually do. Oh,
yeah, they do.
They look remarkably like them.
I mean, it'd be better to save your money and go and get the ingredients and try and do them up yourself, even.
Yeah. Now I'm just looking at the finished product, Gillian. Gillian, I'm going to forward you on that video.
I think it's probably the one I did yesterday, Adrian.
Is it?
To be honest with you, yeah, it's the Yummylicious McDonald's. And when it gets to the end on the video, it looks like it does on probably a lot of recipes. But when you actually do it yourself, they were like pancakes when I finished them yesterday, and they froze snow white. And when I took them out of the freezer this morning and fried them, you literally you could have broke glass with them. I was like, oh. And I'd consider myself a good cook, but I was like, and you have no idea.
So you did everything. You scraped the potato, you put it into iced water, you did everything.
Left it for 2 hours, then take all the starch off it, parboil them, then got your rice flour and your corn starch, did all of that, and you have no idea what it's like to have twin boys with autism at home and try and make your own batch of hash browns. And trust me, I did it yesterday. Got up this morning thinking this was going to be wonderful, and I was like, disaster. And that's when the hysterics started.
I have a 10-year-old autistic by myself, but I'm lucky he's not confined to eating certain things. Like he ventures out and eats a lot of different variety of foods.
So you're much luckier in terms of...
Yeah.
Okay, Tracy, thanks very much indeed. So the video is what you actually did try yesterday, Gillian?
Yeah, the video is what I did try yesterday, unfortunately. But it definitely didn't work for me. And I did everything, you know what I mean? Literally bought everything it said in it. And not a chance now this morning. They're literally like, you know, a centimetre, like rock hard even when you cook them. It says to cook them on a medium heat, which I did, but not a chance. And I could even tell by Kyle was standing behind me and he was making this, you know, he sniffed with his nose like he was going, and straight away it was like, there's not a chance am I going to even eat that when it comes out of the pan. I could tell by his, and Ryan and Kyle would be so bad that they gag, like he would literally vomit if it was.
Oh my God. Right. Somebody else says, would the boys know the difference if you made them as close as possible and put them in a McDonald's bag? Would that make a difference?
And believe me, they took them out. So I got all the bags, and when I took it out of the bag, he literally ripped up the bag, put it in the bin with pure disgust because he knew I tricked him. Like, my kids could sniff it from the other side of the room if it was the wrong ingredient. Like their sense of smell and everything is unbelievable. Compared, you and I would, you know, oh yeah, that's fine, it's the same. He would know straight away. I've even tried it before with McDonald's chips, you know.
Now, a couple of people... well, actually, Gillian, I have to take that ad break because I'm way out of time, but stay there for 1 second because there's some more suggestions.
Thank you.
Nadine, I'll come to you straight after the break. You've also a child with autism with similar problems.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Okay, stay there. I'll be with you straight after the ad break. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98.
The sound of the city from Kilbarrack to Kiltiernan. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
We're trying to get your help. Basically, I am talking with a lady called Gillian, and Gillian has reached out to us to try and get some help here. She has 2 autistic boys aged 9. Their names are Ryan and Kyle. And these young boys are non-verbal autistic. They have very strict routines, but one of the routines that unfortunately they have fallen into in recent years is a routine of only eating a hash brown. And what else do they want, Gillian? The hash brown and what else?
It's cheese toasty, but believe it or not, I've actually managed to get the same cheese toasties, so it's just the hash browns for now.
Okay,
but,
so where did you get the cheese toasties?
So what I did is there's a Tesco style, like it's a white flatbread.
Okay.
And I'm able to do that myself on a George Foreman grill, and it's actually the very same. So that was kind of simple because I used the same bread as Tesco's and the same sort of cheese slices you can buy. So I managed, that's okay for me, but it's the hash browns.
Is the issue.
They won't eat. And I've got one guy that eats cheese toasties and one guy that eats hash browns.
Right, okay. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note from Kate.
Hi, Adrian. Advice from a speech and language therapist here. Just advise that lady that she should put grazing bowls of whatever food they possibly do eat into little bowls in different locations around the house. So it could be a couple in the sitting room, a couple in the kitchen, etc. And without any pressure then for them to eat it. It won't solve the problem in the morning, but it may solve that they may start eating little bits throughout the day without the pressure of the routine having changed. So just advise her to place them. It could be on their seats on inside in the sitting room. It could be on tables, wherever they spend their time. It could be in their bedroom, but just put those little grazing bowls around the place so that then they have access to food. So I know she said that they were non-verbal, so they won't be asking for it, but just try the grazing bowls to see will that support them to eat something throughout the day.
Okay, I don't know if you've ever heard of that before. I've never heard of grazing bowls, have you?
But I've heard it from OT, all right. It's just basically to leave little plates if there are other foods they eat around, which I do. We've already, even this morning, left little bits of other stuff that they like around, but it's all getting pushed aside, unfortunately, for now.
Okay, let me bring in Danielle. You're on 98FM, Danielle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Now, Danielle, you had some advice.
Yeah, I know Kildare Farm Foods in County Kildare do a lot of stuff like McDonald's. And I know they do big bags of hash browns that are shaped like the ones in McDonald's, but I just don't know if they taste the same. But I do know they do them. If that's any help to you.
Oh, my God,
And they're opened. They are opened.
And, sorry, I missed the name. They were called Kildare...
Farm Foods.
Okay. So
it's a big farm that sell whole good foods. I know they do the very same nuggets as McDonald's because my kids love them, and they do the fries. But I just never tasted the hash browns, but I know they're the very same. They look the very same.
Okay, the company is, Gillian, the company is called Kildare Farm Foods.
Okay,
and I have their number here, if you want to make a note of it.
Actually... something, I'm still driving in the car.
Oh, well, that's okay. It's no problem. We'll forward it to you. We'll send it to you in the WhatsApp. So you have tried these, Danielle, and the lads...
No, I haven't tried them, but I know they look the same. They're the small triangular looking ones, like McDonald's sells.
Yep.
But I haven't tried them.
McDonald's is not. It's like an oblong, which everywhere else does triangles. But McDonald's is not a triangle. I think I know the ones, yeah. McDonald's is like an oblong shape. It's like a circle out of shape. It's like a stretched long oblong.
Yes, I wouldn't. I don't.
So even the shape is important, is it?
It's the shape, yeah. Believe it or not, it's the shape, yeah.
Okay, right. That's... now, somebody else said Iceland sell frozen ones, which are identical to McDonald's. I don't know how true that is.
Okay,
and in fact,
I haven't tried them, so that'll be on my list.
Your go-to list. Here's a message about that from Will.
Adrian, Iceland sell bags of hash browns, and they're actually lovely. You do them in the oven, and they're fairly cheap.
Okay, so that's Iceland. Anyway, we'll send you on that number. It may be of use to you for Kildare Farm Foods.
Thanks so much for all the help.
And that may be a help. Where am I going now? Nadine, you're on 98FM. Hi, Nadine.
How you doing?
Now, Nadine, you also have a child with autism, and you're dealing with similar issues.
I am, yeah. Now, he wouldn't be restricted to foods, but he mostly does only eat these chicken sausages every day. He'd have them for breakfast, lunch, dinner, if he could.
And that you perhaps can't get anything else into them, is that right? And this is part of the problem that you have as well, Gillian.
Yeah, I have tried other brands as well, and he knows straight away. He's like, they're not the same. And like, no matter how much you try it, there's a certain taste off them that they know. They do know. Like, and with the way things are going now, like, I mean, they're bad enough out of routine, but for them not to be able to get their food, it is heartbreaking for them.
Now, just to let you know, sorry, Gillian, we've reached out to McDonald's. We've emailed them, we've called them. We're actually currently talking to the suppliers of food to McDonald's, so we are working on this behind the scenes here.
Thank you.
But sorry, Nadine, how are you coping with their feeding routine?
Like, the feeding routine, like, he will eat other foods, don't get me wrong, but every day I'm going out to the shops and I'm trying Super Value, Tesco, Lidl, Aldi, Dunnes, every day. And I'm saying it to managers and they're just like, look, they're putting it down, they're ordering them, they've got onto them, I've got onto them, I sent you in the message there, I got onto them and I asked them, is there any chance they could, like, I'd pay for them to come out and just send me out boxes of them if they have them, and I'd even freeze some of them, but they can't supply to me, they can only supply to the stores.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine that is a bit of an issue, all right.
Yeah.
Now, I've just been told with regard to Iceland, and I've actually tasted the Iceland hash browns. They're lovely, but somebody just messaged me. I work in Iceland, and the hash browns are a different shape to the McDonald's ones. And the McDonald's ones are quite big.
Yeah.
They're kind of big and long, and they're fairly chunky size.
They are. That's the thing. Yeah, they're fairly different to. I haven't come across them anywhere else in that shape.
No, or that big, actually.
No.
Yeah, because I know the ones you're talking about, the triangular ones, I might have them on Saturday with my breakfast, but they're very different to the size of the McDonald's ones. Let me have a listen to... she's gone off the line there, if you want to try and get her back. If you have any more suggestions, you'll never... replicate the McDonald's hash browns because besides anything else, they are cooked in a certain oil with other McDonald's foods, says that message. But even if you could get something that looks the same and tastes the same nearly, you might be able to get some question. Let me have a listen to this WhatsApp from James.
Hey, Adrian, just ask that girl, did she use the right potato? There's all different varieties and brands, and some of them react different because you can only use a single potato for chips.
Okay. The bottom line is, yes. Well, the menu or the video that she looked at yesterday even tells you the sort of potato to use in it. I assume that she actually did use that particular potato variety. If you can get, you obviously can get them here in Ireland anyway. That's a really difficult situation. And like I said, for the majority of us, we hear a story like that and we go, what, the lads eat McDonald's hash browns every day of the week? How strange. Gillian, when you were trying to recreate them yesterday, did it tell you about the specific potato variety to use?
It did, yes, it did, which I got in Tesco's.
Okay,
but it seems that they make up a lot flatter than the McDonald's ones, a lot thinner. Like, if you listen to the guy doing that, he says they're about 1 centimetre, but when they actually freeze and cook, they're literally like flat as anything. They don't obviously, like, they don't rise or anything like that when you cook them. So they just look completely different.
Yeah, and one of the other things that was suggested is even if you were to get your hands on a bag of McDonald's hash browns, you may not be able to replicate the exact taste because it might be different oil that you'd be using or whatever.
Yeah, like it says vegetable oil, but there's hundreds of different vegetable oils.
Wow.
So mine might smell slightly different even when cooking them, and straight away for them then it's no.
All right, we have put it out there now. We're going to podcast this conversation as well when the programme is over, and hopefully somebody will come up with a very concrete suggestion for you as to how you can cope with this, because it just sounds like it's a bizarre sort of problem, but a very, very real problem for you at this very moment. Yeah.
It is. And heartbreaking too to see them so upset and not understanding, and just pushing you towards the door. Like, we're spending half our day now driving around because they want to keep getting in the car and drive. And as far as I'm concerned, when we drive, we get McDonald's hash browns. So we'll just have to keep going. But we really appreciate any help at all. And thanks for listening.
You're very welcome, Gillian. That's what we're here for. And if, as I said, we will podcast this entire conversation directly after the show today and spread it even further, and hopefully get some really solid answers and solid solutions for you a little bit later on, I hope.
That's great.
All right,
Thanks
Gillian.
so much, Adrian.
Thank you very much indeed. There you go. Sorry, I've just been asked to take this call very quickly. Sharon, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, how are you?
Sharon, what did you want to say?
I just want to say there's so many McDonald's in Dublin. Surely this lady is obviously at her wit's end.
Yes, she is.
She's tried recipes. She's tried everything else. Surely somebody has the keys to a McDonald's with freezers in there, with hash browns and some oil that will keep these two boys out of hospital during this crisis.
Absolutely, yes. And as I said, we will podcast it later. We'll tag McDonald's. We have reached out to McDonald's and their suppliers, and we hope we can get answers on this at some stage today. And as you said, somebody somewhere has to be able to go and get a bag of hash browns.
Fair dues to that lady keeping the two boys occupied, and especially when they're non-verbal.
Yep.
And she's obviously at her wit's end, and she sounds absolutely amazing coming across. So, in good form. And honestly, it's something so simple, and somebody only has to put a key in a door.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Give it to her.
All right, Sharon, thanks very much indeed. And Gillian, thank you very much indeed. And we will, as I said, we have reached out to the suppliers, and we will hopefully get some solution to this for Gillian sometime today. You're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy. We're here till midday today. Quick break and we're back in just a moment. It's 11 o'clock across Dublin. Good morning. This is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks, and this is Emma with Thursday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. The Taoiseach says the current restrictions on movement may well be extended beyond Sunday week. The Cabinet Subcommittee is meeting today to discuss the impact of the rules that were put in place last Friday. A further 950 people have died after testing positive for the virus in Spain. The total number of deaths there has now reached over 10,000. A group of advisors to the World Health Organization is looking at whether we should all be wearing masks in public. New research suggests coughs and sneezes travel further than we thought, and so the protection might help cut infection rates. And two stationless bike hire companies in Dublin, Bleeper Bike and Moby, are offering free rides to staff in the medical sector to get to and from work during the COVID-19 crisis. It's after Dublin City Council waived its permit fees for the two firms. And now you're up to date on 98.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And just to wrap up that conversation that we were having about those two lads, let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note from Ciara.
Hi guys, I'm so glad you're actually having this discussion today. I have a 5-year-old girl with autism at home, and this is by far the hardest thing we've ever gone through. She's struggling so much with the lack of routine and the uncertainty of everything. We've obviously tried to implement a routine at home, but it's just not the same. My biggest worry is the regression she'll grow through, and all the hard work that we've done for the last few years will be just gone. Her diet is so restricted, but thankfully the things she does eat can be bought in a shop.
Oh, I mean, that's good to hear, Ciara. And it is obviously a concern for many parents of children with autism. It has to be, it's difficult at the best of times, but it has to be particularly difficult at this time. Obviously, none of us are in our normal routine, but this is particularly difficult for children with autism to adapt to. It's just such a dramatic change to their normal routine. Now, let me move on. And this story actually has gone viral on social media over the last 24 hours, here in Dublin particularly. Headlines like, "I'm never shopping in the Disney store again," or "When COVID-19 is all over, people should boycott that store," Or there's no fairy tale ending in this Disney store. They're giving the two fingers to all our poor, rough sleepers. Just some of the comments posted online in the last few hours after it was revealed that the Disney store on Grafton Street here in Dublin has been given permission to erect gates in the doorway of its Grafton Street store to prevent rough sleepers. Now, the store got the green light for the controversial plans for a new security gate to stop rough sleeping in its doorway on Grafton Street. In an objection against the plan, volunteers in the homeless sector and Dublin-based architect Enda Fanning argued that the proposed industrial security gates are a gross overreaction to the current situation. Now, the timing may be a little bit off in that they were just granted the permission yesterday in the middle of all of this. But anyway, in a submission lodged to Dublin City Council, Mr. Fanning contended for a company such as Disney to use a planning application to simply move on a problematic issue rather than making an effort to engage on the issue with those working in the area of homelessness is unfair and unhelpful to the overall problem. It is of no assistance to the local community. Now, many people are agreeing with the decision by Disney. Basically, this, for those of you, you're all familiar with the Disney store on Grafton Street, and it has a front door which is kind of set in a bit from the actual street. So it has a porchway, if you like. And that porchway has been used for quite some time by a number of rough sleepers and drug users and so on. And Disney applied, this is before Christmas, they actually applied for permission to build these gates, which will stop people essentially sleeping in that porchway. Now, they wouldn't be the first ones to do it. Dunn Stores, just a couple of feet away, did the exact same thing a couple of years ago. But obviously you have to apply for permission to make some structural change like that to the front of your building. They did apply and were granted that permission yesterday. And the backlash has been shocking. And I think part of the problem here is the backlash is coming at this time. Or, sorry, the announcement was made at this time. Disney haven't built the gates. In fact, the store isn't even open. No, it's not. So it's kind of going to be a couple of weeks, I should think, before they even get to construct these gates. But the backlash has been quite severe against Disney online. And I would like to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note with your opinion to 0877 98 98 98. Do you support Disney putting up these gates in front of their building in order to prevent rough sleepers? So what's happened to staff is on regular occasions they've to come in, they've to wake somebody up just to get inside the front door, they've to deal with drug paraphernalia, all of that, and the company obviously decided that they wanted to protect their staff and stop their front doorway being used as a sleeping area. A lot of people, as I said, very, very angry over the even the application in the first place. Audrey, you're on 98FM. How are you, Audrey?
I'm good, thank you.
Audrey, you actually think this is a good idea?
Yeah, I worked in town from the time I was 16. I'm 40 now.
Okay.
And you get to know some of the sleepers. So sometimes you could go in and you'd see Mo or whatever it used to be like, how Mo used to be in, and I knew, call the guards when he's there. Because you'd wake up to a litany of abuse, the whole lot. He'd even try to threaten you, punch you, the whole lot we've had. Now, you've other lads there where I used to know where a particular shop I worked in, used to cross the road with the spar, and I used to know, that's Day. And I used to go over to Day, and I used to give him a cup of tea in Danish, and he'd get up, wake up, and he'd go, grand. So I used to know who to call and who not to. But if you're a new member of staff walking in there in the morning, I remember at 16 walking in first thing on Grafton Street, and it was horrible because you didn't know what you were going to get.
Yes.
I remember even going in across the way, and tell you how bad it gets. If there's not a rough sleeper there, you know you're facing either vomit or feces or urine or something like that. You'd have to go across to the spar across the way, ask the deli counter for gloves to move it.
And obviously, if you're working in the Disney store, part of your duty shouldn't have to be to clean up the bloody front of the building of, as you said, urine or feces or drug paraphernalia or whatever the case may be. But for a number of stores in the city centre, during normal times that is, this is a big issue. This is a daily thing they have to face.
Yeah, and the weekend is just really bad. That's it, because if you I'm not against anyone rough sleeping, that's all right, but Disney are well within their right to protect their staff. What happens if a girl ends up, or a lad or anything, ends up putting their finger on a needle or anything that's there, or if she gets sent out of work because a rough sleeper has turned on her and gave her a punch. I've actually received a punch in the arm and had a black arm for about 2 weeks afterwards.
I was reading some of the comments online, though, about Disney and the decision, firstly, to apply for this gate to be constructed in the first place. And here's what one person said: "There's no fairy tale ending in this Disney story. They're giving the 2 fingers to all poor rough sleepers." Is that what they're doing, giving the 2 fingers to rough sleepers?
No, they're protecting their staff. If that person's child or son or daughter was working, or mother or something was working in that store, did they expect that every morning? That their parent or their child should go walk in every morning and have that abuse put upon them, or not knowing whether they're going to be hit or whatever? Or litany of abuse that you get every time you go in when you're waking them up. As I said, I got to know them over the years, because I was working in town from the time I was 16 up to the time I was nearly 35. I was working in and out of town. So I got to know them all, and that was true most of the guards, because the guards are really nice. They used to turn around, they'd say, you ring them, and you ring up the guard, say, look, I have a rough sleeper here, I know who he is, and they give the name in, and they'd nearly know them all. And you turn around and you say to them, right, so he says, right, I'll be down, I'll send someone down to you in a few minutes.
Okay, so do you think then that it is an overreaction by some people, no, not everybody, a lot of people actually supporting the decision by Disney to protect their staff, to protect their building, to make it easier for staff? I mean, I can imagine it's fairly intimidating if you arrive at 7 a.m. or whatever time you're coming into work at, and you have to wake somebody up just to get into work. I would say that's fairly intimidating.
My first experience was about 16. I was working in Liffey Street, and I remember being pushed by a fella, being pushed out onto the road.
Really?
I went flying back on me back, because I tried to wake up, and I wasn't being rude to him. I said, sorry, I said, I have to get in there, do you mind? And he just turned around, effed and beat me, and called me every C under the sun, and pushed me back.
Okay, stay there for a second. Let me play this WhatsApp voice note that's just come in to us from Eric.
A lot of people that work in those shops are younger boys and girls in their early 20s. In my opinion, it's not fair that they'd have to wake up an older gentleman or lady every morning to open up the shop. It would be a scary experience, something I know I wouldn't want to do, and I wouldn't want my sister in her early 20s to have to do every morning.
Okay, Eric, thanks very much indeed. 6797981 is our telephone number. And we're asking you whether or not you support the plan by Disney. The permission was given yesterday for them to erect gates at the front of their building to basically, at night when they're locking up shop, they close these gates, and it means that rough sleepers can't sleep in kind of the porchway at the front of the building. And we're asking whether or not you support this, or is it giving the 2 fingers to all poor rough sleepers in Dublin? I mean, let's face it, the vast majority of us don't have to hunker down in a dry spot in order to get a night's sleep. There are some, sadly, that do. Audrey, you're on 98FM. Oh, sorry, Robert, I was going to go to. Robert, you're on 98FM. How are you, Robert?
Good, yes.
Good, thanks, Robert. Do you think this is a complete overreaction?
Absolutely. I think it's the fact that the company is involved, that people are overreacting to. If this was some small independent shop, or, like Dunn's, for example, there's nothing about, people wouldn't be reacting as badly, because Disney is making this so much money that they should be doing something else, I think.
So they should be giving money to homeless charities?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that they don't. They may well do, for all I know.
Yeah, but possibly. I mean, but people are expecting Disney to sort of, going off some of the comments on your Facebook post.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the comments are fairly negative against the company. By the way, this isn't something that Disney just applied for yesterday. This has been going on since before Christmas. It just so happens that in the middle of this crisis, as the world continues to spin, they were just granted permission yesterday for something that they'd applied for a long time ago. I think people are a little bit heightened in their reaction because of everything that's going on around us.
But if that's the case, then they should be reacting to Dunnes Stores, for example, who are the Dunnes Stores beside the Disney Store that also have the...
Yeah, and have had for a couple of years.
Yeah, so they should be having the same reaction to Dunnes Stores having them, you know? Like your other caller said there, it's to protect us. I mean, you just need to walk up to Grafton Street just to see the amount of drug use.
Absolutely,
on these doorsteps. And I also think there's another store, I could be wrong, on Grafton Street, I have a lot of stuff outside the doorways that people can't sleep in. Do you know? So, I think for the staff help, it's the best way to go.
Okay, it's in the best interest of the staff that they don't have to wake up people. Here's another Eric who says that businesses have to protect themselves.
How are you, Adrian? Just in regards to it's kind of a horrible story with the homeless being shut out at doorsteps, really. But I think we got to consider, at the end of the day, we need business operating in Ireland. And if it's a cost and an expense and an issue for any business opening their doors, they obviously have to look at protecting their bottom line. That's just a fact of life. That's a fact of business. Simple as that. The real horrible story, the real point of the matter is, quite simply, we live an ongoing issue with homelessness, and I would like the government to have a direct approach when we're building all the extra facilities now to deal with the COVID issue in our country. Maybe they could have the foresight to actually facilitate homeless needs going forward. I think that should be a focus. I think definitely in planning. Unfortunately, I just don't see the people in charge as having much foresight. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
All right, Eric, thanks very much indeed. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text, you can WhatsApp, or you can send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. We're talking about the fact that permission was given, the green light given to controversial plans for a security gate to stop rough sleeping in the doorway of the Disney store on Grafton Street. Now, by the way, there are a number of different businesses, one just across the road from here that I can see from our window that had a porchway, but they built big steel gates around the front entrance of that building. This is nothing new for companies to do this, but for some reason people latch onto it when it's a store like the Disney store. All you have to do is walk around town and you will see, well, if you could walk around town, that is, and you will see a number of companies doing the exact same thing. It just so happens that in this instance, it is Disney that are getting the backlash for it. And we're trying to find out whether or not well, actually, most of the calls, it's interesting, actually, the different reaction that you get online and in person. And what I mean by that is, if you read the online commentary, I'll never shop in Disney again. When COVID-19 is all over, people should boycott that store. Who are these people saying these things? Because we're asking if somebody has an issue with this, and we're getting an awful lot of people saying, no, I don't have a problem with this at all. The company is right. They're protecting their staff. Fair play to them. This message from Will, who has worked in the city centre for years.
Adrian, sorry, I can't come on. I'm in work. I've worked in town last 20 years, still in here. I see it every day. Fire escapes, staff entrances, doorways, feces, urine, blood, syringes, vomit. I've seen staff have to get sent out. I've seen staff trying to get to work, having to step over these people, being abused and spat at. A lot of people walk by them every day, don't help them, but then become social justice warriors as soon as something like this happens. But not a lot of people help them either. If they're that concerned, sure, take them home, let them sleep in their gardens, and then let them clean up after them, see how long they like doing it for.
Absolutely. And in fact, somebody texted in a second ago to say, all of the people moaning about Disney's decision to put the gate at their front door, ask them to let rough sleepers sleep in their front door and clean up the mess themselves. I'm not against homelessness, but shops shouldn't have to deal with that. And in fact, that's Reuben, that is your point. For the people giving out, invite a rough sleeper to sleep in your front porch.
That's right. You know, these protesters, they're complaining. Why don't allow them in their own homes to sleep outside and see how you come home and there's somebody there sleeping? So I don't agree from these protesters to complain. That Disney has a right to protect the employees and the store for safety.
So, like I said, a lot of people saying they're going to boycott the store and all of that. My opinion is this is just social media trolling, that there's nobody actually going to boycott Disney for putting a gate at their front door. It just so happens it's kind of unfortunate timing at the moment.
I agree 100% with you, and they shouldn't even bother anymore to make complaints about that, you know.
Okay, so you would fully support the decision of this company to put these gates so that staff are able to arrive at work safely without having to step over somebody or wake them up, or whatever the case may be, dealing with all sorts of drug paraphernalia and all of that. You fully support the decision by them?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good man, Reuben. Thank you very much indeed. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. And where are all these boycotters? Are they just online trolls? If you're somebody who thinks it is outrageous that the Disney store will push ahead with a gate across their front entrance, which was granted permission yesterday, and you're going to boycott them, I'd love to hear from you, because these people don't exist. This is all social media trolling by the sounds of it. We'll take a very quick break. We're back in a second.
The sound of the city, from Donamead to Drimna. Dublin Talks. 98FM's Dublin Talks.
And this is Adrian Kennedy. We're here until midday today. We're talking about the online reaction to permission being granted to the Disney store on Grafton Street here in the city centre. The Disney store, before Christmas, applied for permission to erect gates at the front of their building in order to prevent rough sleepers in the porch at their front door. And it's very unfortunate timing that the permission was granted yesterday. Because there are no builders around, it's very unlikely that construction will begin anytime soon. But when the store gets up and running again, it now does have permission to erect those gates. But a lot of people online, and I have to stress that because that's definitely not what's coming into us, the majority of people contacting us say they fully support the company in doing what they're doing. Amy, you contacted us about what happened to you at your shop in Grafton Street.
Yeah, just a few weeks ago. I was going into work and I pulled a shutter up on my shop. So on the left-hand side, I have a window, and then I have a small porchway, approximately maybe 3 foot by 4 foot, if it's even that size.
Okay.
So I went in the door, switched off the alarm, went put on the lights, and heard ruffling, and turned round, and there's a guy taking a sleeping bag out, opening it up, and he's getting into it. And I said to him, "Sorry, excuse me, what are you doing there?" "Oh, I'm very tired, I want to have a sleep." I said, "Well, you're not sleeping in my porch." Of course, then I got abused. I just said to him, "Look, you can move for me, or I can get the guards. It won't take me 2 seconds." I just got my phone and rang the guards. I was gobsmacked. Now, I'm used to them sleeping along where I work. Day after day, they're sitting outside my shop begging. I'm used to that kind of thing, but to actually come in behind me and try and get into a sleeping bag at my porch, I was shocked.
So, like I was saying to you, the reaction online to people, and again, I think an awful lot of them are social justice warriors, essentially, and in fact, I've just gotten a message there to say exactly that, put the words into my mouth, that people generally support this decision and support decisions like this to protect staff.
Absolutely.
You're on the same street as
Well, I'm just off Grafton
Just
Street.
off Grafton Street. And you've seen, obviously, the plans. You've seen, obviously, Dunn Stores as well. They have gates there for quite some time. And they probably have no choice, really, but to do this to protect their staff.
I would agree, because every morning, as somebody said earlier on in the show, you have to go in, you have to move them. Excuse me, can I get into my shop? Can I get into my shutter? Can I open my lock? And then at weekends, there's a lot of other stuff goes on too. Getting sick, and they get sick on top of shutters, and like people going in opening up shutters have to use gloves, have to use sprays, try and get rid of the smell. It's just unreal.
Okay, so you don't believe that Disney deserve any sort of negative publicity out of this? Don't deserve threats of boycotts, which isn't going to happen anyway.
It's not going to happen anyway, but I don't agree with any of that.
Yeah.
Some of these people would want to spend a couple of weeks working in the city centre in these areas and see what's going on.
All right, fair play, Amy. Thanks very much indeed. Kevin, you're on 98FM. How are you, Kevin?
I'm good, Adrian.
Now, Kevin,
how are you?
what did you want to say on this?
Yeah, look, I kind of agree. The staff, at the end of the day, if the company don't do something to protect their staff, who do you think is going to get sued? Like, if something happens to... The company's trying to do the right thing, and if anything happens to their staff, at least they say, look, well, we covered ourselves. And yeah, it is kind of being done. So I agree with it to that level and protection of their staff. Now, it has been done a bit sneaky, a bit underhanded. Like,
how? We talked about this before Christmas.
Oh yeah, but it's suddenly been passed through now.
That's just council work. This is the council that has given the go ahead for it.
Yeah, I know.
This sort of work is still going on despite the world we're living in.
I think in some people's minds, maybe I'm unique. I don't know. It's happening in the middle of a pandemic. It's going to be put in. Very few people see it being put in. They'll get the backlash now, and by the time business returns to normal, it'll be eating bread, be forgotten about more or less. So it's just coincidental, maybe. Maybe I'm just paranoid, or you know what I mean. But yeah, like, it has to be done. And I know the poor souls have to sleep somewhere, but at the end of the day, staff have to be protected. They're the key members of the workforce, and the likes of Disney aren't going to care if they get boycotted. You know, it's going to be a drop in the ocean of a few people that don't bother shopping there anymore.
Now, I do agree with you that this will all be forgotten about by the time the store opens up again. I kind of agree with that. However, the gate is not likely to be constructed until the store reopens anyhow, so it will become an issue again in a couple of weeks.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
That's a fair... I didn't think of that. I just assumed to get some...
No, because we've no construction workers out at the moment. They're not going to be putting up the gates this week, for example, while there's nobody around. There's nobody out working.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, I just had to get some sole traders or something. That's my idea of blowing out the door, then, isn't it?
Yep, it is. Sorry about that, Kev. All right, let me bring in some WhatsApp voice notes on this conversation. And in fact, Sarah from Canada sent us this message.
It makes me wonder if most of the people boycotting are actually even shopping at the Disney store. And then also, what have they done to help the homeless and rough sleepers? Are they making donations or helping in shelters? You know, probably just social justice warriors.
Yes, and people questioning Disney's commitment to homeless, we don't know, and it's none of our business actually whether Disney donates any money to homeless charities or anything like that. It's none of our business at all. Julie sent me this WhatsApp voice note.
My opinion on the Disney shop putting out gates, I understand they need to keep their staff safe, but instead of having a negative opinion towards the homeless people and giving them nowhere to sleep, they have enough money to build houses or small accommodation or mini houses. Why is the reaction always negative instead of positive?
All right, thank you very much indeed, Julie. And a final message from Michael, who's angry about this.
Good morning, Adrian. Listen, this conversation's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous in the sense that the people at the very bottom of the barrel are the homeless people. They're the ones completely forgotten about in all of this, right? Everybody's at home, they're doing their self-isolation. Anybody with a roof over their head, right? And now this morning, you turn on the radio and we're listening to a multi-million pound or multi-million euro Disney chain is actually going to put a gate up in front of homeless. Will people not actually be discussing about what are we going to do for the homeless and how have they been forgotten through all of this? You know, I don't know, it's just like, come on now, let's blame the homeless. It's a bit ridiculous.
All right, Michael, thank you very much indeed. And a couple more messages. And in fairness, the 99% of people fully support the decision by Disney to erect these gates. So for all of you who've seen, and I've seen it myself, I saw it last night, people going ballistic, this is outrageous. That outrage hasn't come into us today. So, like that lady said, social justice warriors, seriously, get a grip of yourselves. You've nothing else to be doing except slamming a company for trying to protect their staff. Another message says, they are dead right. I work in the IFSC and most of the rough sleepers down my way leave the doorways in no fit state and employees should not have to deal with it. It's not in their job description, says that message. And let me see. Yes, this is all internet trolls for sure. There's a Jekyll and Hyde aspect to these people. Ask them why they posted this rubbish and they don't know themselves. I'm well known for my dislike of Disney, but I am impressed by them taking care of their staff for once, says that message. Another message says, look at other shops around the city centre. They're all boarded up at the moment. It's not just Disney. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about going forward. Yes, of course, the shops are shut up. All right, and there was one final message just here that I wanted to read. Yeah. Adrian, my husband worked in a hotel and a homeless guy slept in a doorway at the side of the hotel. My hubby had to clean up human feces, human crap, literally. The guy sleeping there was on heroin and often left paraphernalia there. The bosses wanted to get rid of the cardboard he used to sleep on, but he put it behind a bin so the guy could get at it. At the end of the day, this is a government problem. They don't care about the homeless. If they did, there would be no need for Disney or any other business to have to put up gates. All right, thanks very much indeed for all of your calls. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks.
The sound of the city, from Sallynoggin to Swords. Dublin Talks. 98FM's Dublin Talks.
Now, earlier on the programme, we, about 45 minutes ago, we were talking with a lady called Gillian. And just for those of you who may not have heard Gillian's story, and it's a very difficult one. Here's the situation with Gillian. Gillian has two autistic boys, age 9. They're called Ryan and Kyle. Ryan and Kyle are non-verbal and are very, very affected by changes in their routine. And we spoke to her. One of the more difficult parts of their routine is their eating. And Gillian, I just wanted to get you back on for a second.
Thanks, Adrian.
To describe to me, for people who didn't hear us 45 minutes ago, an hour ago, what it is that you're trying to get because your kids, your two boys, Ryan and Kyle, have to have them or they eat nothing.
Okay, so what I'm trying to get is McDonald's hash browns. For 6 years, that's all the guys eat for their breakfast. Their routine every morning, may it be from any time from 4 a.m, is to get in the car, go to the drive-thru, eat their breakfast in the back of the car, and it has to be McDonald's hash browns. We've tried every other type of hash brown and they just won't accept it. And the problem is, because of their sensory processing disorder, they won't go on and eat their lunch or their tea if they haven't had their breakfast. So they will actually starve, which I know sounds crazy, but they don't understand that if they haven't eaten breakfast, then they don't do lunch and tea. So this situation with lockdown and all, which I know is difficult for everyone.
Absolutely,
it's just been huge for the guys, because when they're non-verbal, it's very hard for them to understand. I can't sit them down like your average kid and have a chat with them and say, listen, for a little time McDonald's is closed and we're going to try something else. They just have a meltdown. They don't understand. They're pulling at the doors of McDonald's. We tried walking them up to it to let them actually see it was closed, and they're just having a pure meltdown, hysterical. So, I mean, they have weak immunity as it is because of their diet and their intake. So they're very susceptible to infection. And unfortunately, if they stop eating, they will end up in Temple Street on a drip, which for us right now would be an absolute nightmare with the situation that's going on in the country.
Okay, we did say that we did put out the call for help, and we have been contacted by a man called Brian. Brian, welcome to 98 FM.
Hi Adrian, how's it going?
Brian, you're a store manager with McDonald's at Artane Castle, is that right?
I am, yeah. I've been working there for 20 years.
And one of your staff got in contact with you to tell you about this conversation on 98 FM.
Yeah, Sharon, who works on the lobby, she's one of my customer care assistants. She was actually listening to yourselves this morning on the radio, and she made me aware of Gillian's story and asked could we do something to help her. So I've got in contact with the owner, James Perry, and he has agreed to give Gillian and her sons a month's supply of hash browns.
Oh my God.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. Hopefully this will make it a bit easier for you. I can understand the circumstances that you're going through, and hopefully we'll be reopening soon. And we'd love to see you in the restaurant when we do reopen.
Oh, thanks so much. Make sure we pop out. I definitely will. That is just, you have no idea how probably simple to someone else is just going to literally...
That's no problem. Listen, we've helped a lot of charities before we closed. We've given a lot of our perishable goods to Focus Ireland as well. So I suppose every little helps, and that's what we're trying to do to make this a bit more easier for everybody in these difficult times.
All right, well, that's absolutely brilliant, Brian. We will arrange the details with you off air, but you'll be able to give Gillian a month's supply, which she can just deep fry or whatever way they're cooked.
She can deep fry them. Next week we can arrange to meet up, and I can give you the month's supply. That's no problem.
That's absolutely fantastic, Brian. Fair play to you.
No problem, Adrian.
And with your permission, then we'll pass your number on to Gillian, and she can make direct contact with you and make arrangements with you.
Absolutely, yeah. She wants to give me a call. That's no problem.
That's absolutely fantastic. Fair play, and thank you very much indeed to your staff member for alerting you to it. And it's kind of difficult to get in touch with you at the moment because obviously all your stores are closed. So I'm delighted to hear that you will be able to help a month's supply of hash browns for Gillian from the McDonald's at Artane Castle. That is very much appreciated, Brian. And we really are grateful that you were able to do that for us. And we'll put you in touch with each other.
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
How does that feel, Gillian?
Oh, you know what? It's like literally, that's like winning lotto for me. That's no joke, Adrian. And I know that might sound crazy, but you've just literally made the morning. And just to be able to let him eat is just incredible, and be able to do it for him. You've no idea how much you guys have helped me this morning, and a huge shout out to McDonald's, because when this stuff is not going on, they are an amazing restaurant for you've got a kid like ours, and they just really do go out of their way to help you. So thank you so much.
And I'm just looking at the messages coming in, because an awful lot of people were taken by your story, Gillian, because it's so unusual, but it is your world, it is your life right now, and that certainly is good news. I'm delighted to hear that for Gillian and her boy, says this message. Let me see, where else have we got? A small piece of humanity has been salvaged today. That's lovely. And it's such a simple little gesture. Absolutely delighted for Gillian, and fair play to Brian and the staff at McDonald's at Artane Castle. Oh my God, Brian, well done. I'm so happy for Gillian. Great to hear this. And that man Brian deserves a medal. So there you are. As I said, as soon as the programme is over, Gillian, we'll put you in direct contact with Brian, and you can arrange all of the logistics with him to get that stuff for you. I'm delighted for you, Gillian. I'm really glad we could help.
Thanks so much for your help, Adrian. You really no idea what you've done for us this morning. Thanks so much.
And the one thing that we've been saying about this whole crisis is a radio show like this is here to try and help. We're here live every day, and if we can help in even a small way, and we just did today, I'm delighted to be able to do that. And let me just play one final WhatsApp voice note, just somebody who's delighted.
Oh my God, Adrian, that is so kind, so nice. I'm crying here. That's lovely. All
right, there you are. That's Suzanne. Thanks very much indeed, Suzanne. And as here's a final, Brian, here's a good plug for McDonald's, yeah?
Yeah.
Somebody just texted in, and it's very simple. I'm loving it. Well done, Brian and Gillian. Thanks very much indeed. And we'll put you in touch with each other. That's really good news. Fantastic. Well done. And like I said, it's one of those problems that most of us can't get our heads around. But for that lady, that's her world right now. And we'll get the McDonald's supply to her. You're listening to 98FM's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy. By the way, coming up at midday today, something very unusual. We will, and I don't want you to be alarmed because there's nothing alarming about it, okay? Because, we've been, when we see our leaders coming on the radio and the television to make an announcement, it's scary. Coming up at midday today, we will have a special speech by the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins. Now, it is nothing to be worried about. It's actually a really nice speech that has been broadcast across all media at midday today. Nothing to be alarmed about, but something that might be well worth listening to. Okay, so as I said, we've been all alarmed when we hear the Taoiseach is going to make an announcement at 12 o'clock or whatever. This is nothing like that. This is actually a nice speech by the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins, who wants to basically rally the troops, really, and give you a bit of encouragement and so on. So stay listening to 98FM. We will be bringing that to you at 12 o'clock, as will most media outlets at midday today. But nothing to be alarmed about, but something that is worth listening to at midday today. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're back in a second.
The sound of the city from Perrystown to Fort Marnock. Dublin Talks. 98FM's Dublin Talks.
And this is Adrian Kennedy. We're here till midday today. Now, during the ongoing isolation, people have been playing an online game. Okay? And the online game is, tell us about things you dislike that other people seem to love. Now, our Jeremy is here with me, but he's not actually here with me. He's in another part of the building, but he is...
It sounds like I'm beside you.
It sounds like you're beside me, but you're not. Jeremy's in a different part of the building, and...
we were both playing this game online last night, weren't we? Just shows how bored we were as well.
Yeah. So this is basically to tell us things that you dislike that other people seem to love. So I want you to text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Give me an idea.
Okay, well, here's what I said last night, and it's amazing how people get really annoyed when they love something and you tell them, well, actually, I don't love that, don't they? They get so annoyed about it.
Yeah.
So my two things that I said, so again, the line is, tell us about the things you dislike that other people seem to love. So my two things. My first one is live gigs, I have to say. Now, I know you agree with me on this, don't you?
I kind of do. I don't mind going to live gigs, but sometimes they're just more hassle than they're worth.
People go on about gigs. You know, when someone says they're coming to play a gig and people lose their absolute mind. You know what I mean? Taylor Swift is coming. Oh my God, this is going to be the best gig ever. I've never been to a gig where I've actually really, really enjoyed it. And I'll tell you why. The problem is, it never sounds like the CD.
No, of course it doesn't, because they're playing
sounds
live.
like the CD.
Well, it depends on who you're going to see. Some of them sing to woeful backing tracks. But anyway, yeah, but it's never like the CD.
Gigs are actually not enjoyable. You have Maureen standing in front of you with her iPad recording the whole thing. You have Johnny beside you who keeps jumping up every 2 minutes to go to the bar, and then he's spilling beer over you. I remember going to see Beyonce a couple of years ago, and I may as well have been watching her from a different country because I was so far away in Croke Park I couldn't even see her.
Yeah, like what's the point in going to a gig and watching it on the big screen?
Yeah, gigs, I'm sorry. I know most of you love gigs. I don't like them. My second one that I'm putting in the list, Adrian, is wine.
Oh.
Now, I know, especially during isolation, a lot of people are drinking, well, they drink wine all the time. I know if you go up to my sister's house at the moment, her fridge will be full of Prosecco and all that. I don't get wine. Never had. Tasted it once when I was 18. Didn't like the taste of it.
And never tasted it since?
Never had it since. The smell of it, it's like vinegar to me.
Okay, here's something. Okay, so we want you to text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. We want you to tell us things that you dislike that other people seem to love. Now, it doesn't have to be food, it can be anything. Like, for example, Love Island.
Oh, you don't get that,
I don't get it. I tried it. I watched it. I forced myself to look at it every day. It was the most popular trending program of the year. Blah, 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 blah. I just don't get it. I just don't like it. I tried it only because everybody here in the office was talking about it. But no.
Love Island is Marmite, isn't it? You either really, really love it or you really, really hate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we want you to text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. We want you to tell us things that you dislike that other people seem to love. Now,
I just got a text message there, Adrian. Just moment from a friend of mine who said, Jeremy, you know damn well I love going to gigs and drinking wine at gigs.
Doing both, yeah.
Yeah, doing both.
Here's an example one of our listeners just sent in to us. People seem to love pizza and pasta. I find them absolutely revolting. Now, the pasta I'm not a big fan of, but pizza, oh yeah.
How could you dislike pasta, though? It's the most inoffensive...
I know, but that's why. It's so inoffensive. It's so bland and tasteless. But
it's inoffensive. It's never killed anybody. No one's ever died from pasta.
All right, keep them coming in. We want you to basically... this is a game that's been trending over the last... Tell us about things that you dislike that other people seem to love. Here is a WhatsApp voice note from Connor.
Hey Adrian, Jeremy, I don't know about you, but one thing I cannot stand is ABBA. My wife just asked me to go and see Mamma Mia when it first came out, and this is not a chance you can go with your man. There's no way I'm going to put myself through 2 hours of that garbage. Love the show, sis.
He sounds like he's at work. Connor, you're wrong.
I knew you were going to be upset by that, Adrian. I want to tell the listeners a story about you, Adrian.
Go on.
When Adrian was in school, this is a fact, Adrian used to go to school with an ABBA t-shirt on him.
I did it once.
Okay, you did.
I did it once.
Adrian is ABBA's biggest fan.
I am. And Connor, sorry, you're wrong. Keep them coming in. So basically, we want you to tell us things that you dislike that other people seem to love. Cara sent me this WhatsApp voice note.
Hi. One thing I hate that everybody else loves is when a girl has her nails done and she's tapping her nails on the table or on anything, on a cup. That just wrecks my head. I can't do that. Everyone loves it, but I can't stand it when someone taps their nails. And my name is Cara.
All right, Cara, thank you very much indeed. What is that one thing that you dislike that most other people seem to love? Keep them coming in to 0877 98 98 98. I absolutely, says this message, I think I know who this came in from. I absolutely despise watching football. Most of my mates are mad soccer fans, but I'd rather read a book or watch paint dry. Now, I don't know who sent that in, but that's somebody who absolutely hates watching football.
Can I just tell you, by the way, about watching paint dry, yeah?
Yeah.
Watching paint dry is actually quite enjoyable.
How?
Have you never done it? When you paint a wall back in your living room and you see it's all wet and glossy and just standing there staring at it and it slowly turns to mass as it dries. I'm telling you, watching paint dry is actually very entertaining.
Is it really?
Yeah, try it.
Okay, all right. Keep them coming in. These are things that you dislike but most other people seem to love. You mentioned wine a while ago. You're also not a beer man, though. Beer you don't get either.
No, I tried beer once. I'm very rare in that I first drank at 18. I waited until I was 18 to drink. And I remember somebody handing me a can and saying, taste that. And I thought beer was disgusting. And I haven't drank beer or wine since I was 18.
One thing I hate, says this message, is custard in a trifle, and the rest of my family love it. Now, you can't have trifle without custard. Then it's not a trifle, is it? Okay, keep them coming in to 6797 981. Somebody actually agrees with you, Jeremy. I hate wine and gigs. I hate the way people need to have the latest designer rudders, even if they're really ugly as sin. I've never gotten that either. I've never gotten having to have the latest trend of runners.
Look at that text, Adrian. Jeremy saying he hates gigs has obviously never been to a Bruce Springsteen gig. It doesn't matter who it is that's playing. And I did go to a Bruce Springsteen gig years ago. And have you ever been to a Bruce Springsteen gig, Adrian?
No, I haven't, no.
He doesn't play the hits.
Oh, he sings like his latest album.
Oh, I was at a gig and 2 hours into the gig and he still hadn't sang Born in the USA. I went home.
Here's a WhatsApp voice note.
Hey lads, hope you are well. I don't like is Indian food, but a lot of my friends seem to love it. I actually have a funny story about it. I remember I got it for the first time there last year, and I did something very bloody stupid. I tried to drink. I drank what I thought was a green sauce or something. Turned out to be the bloody soap. I was nearly throwing up out straight, but I'd have tried it a second time, and it just didn't take to it. Anyway, hope you are well, guys. Stay safe. Kieran here. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Kieran. And here is another one. We're asking you to tell us things you dislike that other people seem to love.
Good afternoon, Adrian and Jeremy. Down in West Limerick, we have what they call boiled mushrooms in milk, and my missus is from Dublin and she absolutely can't stand them. What we actually do is we boil the mushrooms first in boiling water, and then what we do is we put it into milk with a drop of pepper and salt, and it's just like hot milk with mushrooms in it. And I think it's absolutely lovely. Lots of people wouldn't like it at all.
I don't blame a lot of people not liking it at all. How could you possibly like... I love mushrooms and I love milk. Boiled mushrooms in milk. Ugh. Okay, keep them coming in. We're talking about... we want you to tell us things you dislike that other people seem to love.
One thing that I don't enjoy at all is having a glass of wine or any type of alcoholic drink in the evening at home. I know people love, having a glass of wine to relax in the evening time, especially on a weekend, but I don't get it. I don't enjoy it.
Okay, let me see. Pineapple on a pizza is rank. I feel ill when I'd be the same. Pineapple has no place on a pizza. Here's another one.
How are you, lads? I cannot stand tea or coffee. Never liked it, never drank it.
Really? I always find that really strange in this country that you would never drink tea or coffee. Look, I'm actually, unfortunately, out of time. I'm going to come back to that tomorrow because there's lots of you getting in contact with us, but I have to make way in a couple of moments for Uachtar on the Heron, Michael D. Higgins, who's going to make a little speech at midday today. Nothing to be concerned about. It's a happy speech. It's an uplifting speech, speaking to the nation at 12 o'clock. That's it from us for today. Sorry to rush that. We'll come back to that tomorrow. I'm Adrian Kennedy. Barry Dunn is next.
The sound of the city from Furhouse to Finglas. Dublin Talks. 98FM's Dublin Talks.